afternoon on this hot, muggy day, August the 11th. Boy, we're getting beat by the heat here. I have, as my guest today, a very good artist and a very good friend, Jim Wong. And I met Jim at the New Hampshire Institute of Art before it became New England College of Design. And we were in a group called Saturday Live Group. And I think I was starting my 11th year, and then all of a sudden something happened, and we weren't allowed to meet there anyway. Yeah. But I'm glad that Jim and I stay in contact. He's been on my show before, and he's a very good artist, and he's a Beatle freak from way back. He loves the Beatles. And so do I. I don't know anybody that doesn't. But
yeah.
Jim, explain to our public or talk to them about why you like to paint.
Sure.
And then we're going to look at Bruce Lee over here. He does really, really, really nice work. Why do you do art?
Ever since I was a kid, I was drawing with different medias, and my uncle, who was a paraplegic, actually he had suffered polio, and he took upon art, and then he shared his art media by sending me art gifts, and I started playing around with stuff when I was probably 8 or 10 years old. People those years was only playing with crayons, and I started delving into pastels and oil crayons and charcoal, and then, but I haven't dived into oil painting until later in life because art supplies was kind of expensive at that for me, since I didn't work. But as a kid, I just doing pencil drawings and started developing better. So I think I was ahead of my age group in school, and then the teachers found out, well, the sisters found out back then, and they said, okay, well, I'll put you into these art projects, and you got to paint, okay, the Pope and the Vatican thing on the Ecumenical Council project, or okay, I want you to paint the Civil War era, things like that. So
yeah, I remember the nuns quite well.
Oh yeah. So anyway, and then there was a lull when I got into working. I didn't really paint at all, and work kind of got in the way until I suffered that heart attack, and then I got back into painting. And not heart attack, I mean my heart surgery. So then when I had that 2 months off, I went back to it, and then when I retired, finally had more spare time and do what I want to paint, and paint mostly popular art culture stuff, and that includes the Beatles, of course, and any other rock stars and stuff. Yep.
Yeah. This painting of Bruce Lee, this is your latest one, right?
Right. Yeah. This is, in fact, I just finished it on August 8th, and this took about, I would say, 25 hours or so. Much less time than I thought. So I started on the left side of the painting, so I did that. Bruce Lee from a reference picture from the Way of the Dragon, and then I did from the Game of Death cover DVD. I took that as a photo reference, but I changed the color a little bit. And again, I started a gray overtone first on this 36 by 24 size duck canvas. And being canvas, you always have to, for acrylic, you always have to apply a lot of paint on it because it's so absorbent,
Right.
So you have to paint it a couple of times to get the paint onto the more absorbent material such as duck canvas. Now the character that you'll probably see here is in Cantonese means Lei Siu Lung, and that means, and translated in English, it means "Lead the Little Dragon." So this is the title of the painting would be Bruce Lee, the Little Dragon, and that the way he got his nickname was he was born in the year of the dragon, and he was also a child star when his father was playing the operas and comedy shows. So he was sometime the actor, the child actor, with his father in some of those early shows that were done in Hong Kong. And the dragon is always a symbol of good luck and good fortune in the Chinese culture, so that's why I painted this symbolic dragon on this side here as my final add-on to this artwork. I've also used a little bit of airbrushing too, if you notice here on the...
Oh, you airbrush too, Jim?
Yeah, airbrush on the behind the head, and I also have to use frisket film to paste over the area that I don't want the spray to get all over the place. So I, cut the frisket film, put it there, and then apply the airbrush.
Wow.
I've got the Iwana airbrush compressor. And, airbrushing is a little bit more, you have to clean the brush every time you do it, and you have to mix it all the time with airbrush medium. And then you got to have the small, tight airbrush control. I always use the littler one, the little couplet on the airbrush, because the big ones I found were, you end up wasting a lot of the paint anyway. Then you have to blow it into this holding tank. So,
get rid of it.
Get rid of it. And then you got to put airbrush cleaner, put the fluid 3 times going through the thing, and then you wear your mask, of course, while you're airbrushing it. So you see and notice airbrushing also on the left side too, on his T-shirt. And then there's iridescent silver I use on the chain to make it more metallic looking. I think I talked about it last time too.
Iridescent silver?
Yeah, paint. Yeah.
You can get that in acrylic too, right? The iridescent.
Oh yeah. This is acrylic. Yeah. So this is
add a little white to it and
and I also use a high gloss slow dry gel now in my blending process, which I have not used before. So as I learn along, I think that gel medium helps with the gloss and helps with the blending of transitioning from light to dark and getting the right combination of the sfumato or the chiaroscuro effect on the skin tones that I try to do. And then also you pay more attention to the facial features, because the facial features has multiple planes, so you got to make sure that the plane from his cheekbones and his eye sockets and all that, they're on different levels of planes, so you got to watch out for creating the lightness, and instead of making the face a little bit flat, you got to make it more three-dimensional. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Wow.
All right. So that's my biggest painting, 36 by 24, and I also learned that it takes quicker to once you try to do it once, you try to avoid the mistakes I do on my early paintings. Yeah. So. Yeah. So
this I saw on this one on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What's the name of this? The title?
I call it Asian Angel.
Yeah.
So this is done on a piece of plywood that I actually picked up at Home Depot, of all things, and I double coated with gesso, sand it down again, and apply more gesso in it. Apply the gray undertone. As you notice here, I left it here, and this is done acrylic. This is basically a 24 by 24 square. So I thought it was kind of a parody, because you never seen an Asian angel ever, right? Only done in Renaissance. You always see a white Caucasian angel, or even a black angel. You ever see that, right? So I thought it was kind of interesting to do that, and So she has that full-on look and kind of a sexy, bosomy type Asian
Yeah.
that gets the attention of.
And this is
the male.
acrylic too, right?
Yeah, this is acrylic too. Yep. So this I use a little bit of airbrush on here too on the background. You notice the smoky effect. You won't be able to get that smoky effect with just a brush, I don't think, right? Because it's aerated spray there.
Yep.
And then I use my own imagination on creating the wings, the angel wings on her. So to fill up the painting, to make it unusual. And then again, the focus on the face, you gotta try to paint, concentrate on the ovalness and the angles of the cheeks and then the eyes. You know, make sure those are paint those black first over anything that's light. So you avoid painting light over dark. So you always apply the dark colors first, and that's reduces your time to paint because you don't want to get into a rut that I get into is overpainting and trying to correct your mistakes, and you know, an artist does that, you know. So I kind of avoided that, and I noticed my production of paints or my paintings painting much quicker,
Right.
because you avoid those mistakes.
Every artist magazine that I've read, especially with watercolor, they all say, do your dark areas first. Once your sketch is done and you have the idea of what you want to do, put your dark areas in first and everything else falls in place.
All right, yeah.
You know, but I like that. I like that a lot.
Yep.
Do you ever put any coatings over them when they're dry to protect them?
Yeah, actually, I might have sprayed a varnish on this one too. If you see some gloss on it, there's some. You can buy this gloss that I put on my sprayer, and you can spray over it. And I think there's also Golden makes a aerosol can that you can use on your acrylics. It's yeah, so you can spray the varnish on your acrylic painting.
Right.
So it comes in a can.
It's water-based too, right?
Might be water. Yeah, I think it might be water-based. Yeah.
I that's what I do with.
Do you do yours like that too?
I do on most of my acrylic paintings. Watercolor, somebody told me that you can do that too with watercolor, but I'm not going to try it because watercolors are very sensitive.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I've got to research that a little more because face it, with a watercolor, you can destroy it in a second. So
Yeah.
I've kind of hesitated with that, but with my acrylics, I usually get the stuff in a jar, and I usually brush it on. But I do have some spray, and I haven't used the spray yet. It's a clear coat.
Yeah, you can buy it at Hobby Lobby in Nashville.
Yeah. They also sell some stuff at Home Depot,
Oh really?
and it's made by Rust-Oleum,
Oh really?
and it's called Gloss Clear, and that's what I use on my murals.
Oh
And
okay, yeah.
I tested it on a small 5x7 acrylic painting. It works perfect.
Oh great.
It works perfect.
Yeah.
The only thing that I learned the hard way was I was doing an acrylic painting, and they were straight acrylics, and then I thought I would use as a highlight some fluorescent acrylic.
Yeah.
Big mistake.
No, yeah.
When I put the clear coat on it, I came back the next day and it had bleached it out.
Oh.
Took the color right out of that, just that one area. So what I did was I sanded it down and then painted it again.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, you've got some nice work here.
Yeah, now I'm gonna go to the I-rated section now.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I have my guest, James Wong, and I've known Jim for, like I said, quite a few years, and he has some really nice paintings here. And this one here reminds me of a rock star.
It is. Stevie Nicks.
Is that? Yeah, well, that is Stevie Nicks, right?
Yeah.
What a beautiful job that is on her.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a 16 by 20. This is one of my few paintings that I picked out a good frame for it.
Yeah.
I did this during the COVID-19 pandemic, and took about 25 hours or so.
Now that's acrylic or oil?
This is acrylic medium. So this is done on canvas as well. So it's kind of very absorbent. So what I did was I used my usual Liquitex type paint, medium. I think I might have started using the gel medium as well, the slow dry gel medium. So so you'll notice for the here I had to use a number 2 brush, and then for the blending I used the angular 1/2 inch Princeton brush for the blending. For the number 2 brush, yeah, I use the for the here. What I did here is you'll see various colors of the here to create some depth. You start off with the lighter tone of yellow ochre, blended with I think a dark color.
A little burnt umber, maybe?
Yeah, there's some, you'll notice here there's some purple in there too to make it stand out with the light. So the light is coming from the right side of her face here. And then and then transparent white and maybe titanium white a little bit to make it stand out. So so you try to make the there's some depth into her eyes there. So you so I added contrasting ivory black and and then what else there? And then the rest of it is a lot of heavy, intense black to make the figure stick out more, stand out.
You know, when I paint and have a dark background, somebody told me, and it makes sense. If I'm going to put black in my background, I put a little blue.
Yeah.
Or even a dark green, like a phthalo green.
Right. Yeah.
And predominantly black, but a little. And I mean, I can. To me, when you say black, I can still see.
Yeah, there's.
Right. I like the way you did that because it's not black, like say what her.
Yeah. So there's some purplish, and then you see a little bit of tincture of blue there too, and then there's some hints of cobalt blue as I mix the black with the blue.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and then you got a little bit of white with dark blue to make the metallic stand out. So
I like the color of her hair, and I like the way you did the shadow effect. Shadows are something that they're just very. You can add color to them, and I like that. That came out really nice there. Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She got inducted as a Hall of Fame as Fleetwood Mac, the music group, and then she
did she go solo for a while?
Yeah, she also got solo as a female rock star inducted in the Hall of Fame. So she got two rock and roll induction. So one of the very few artists that did that, other than the Beatles with Paul McCartney, and had solo and also inducted in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, here's another rock star, Latin rock star. This painting here is entitled Shakira by the Sea, of course, which is Shakira. So this is based on a reference photo I painted. This is also done in oil.
That's oil.
This is done in oil, actually. The other one is acrylic, So for the hair, since her hair is very naturally curly, I used a wider like a number 4 paintbrush to do the here, and you'll notice the here is comes in various colors. So what I did here is first you apply the light color first, like a mixture of yellow ochre and white, transparent white, and then there's a little bit of cadmium yellow there too to mix in there to highlight the lighter color. So this, and then the shadows here, and then I try to paint, and then there's blending of green for the sea in the background, and I just in this case here, for the oil painting, I use liquid original again for some of the skin tone blending that's done on her forearms, and then this since this her I think her costumes, her outfit blouse is kind of shown as transparent. There's some transparency. I try to make it transparent, so you got to put some transparency in it, so make it lifelike. So,
yeah. What's her name?
Shakira. Yeah.
Shakira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's she's actually another pop star. Yeah. She's probably more popular in Colombia,
South America.
yeah, than she is in the States. But her stuff, I like her stuff. That's music and stuff. So big guy painter. Yeah. I don't know if it's anything else. Anything else you got questions on? Or
No,
style?
it's fine.
Okay.
I'm just studying your flesh tones because I want to start doing portraits. And
again, there's to make the face stand out, you gotta so you'll see a transition of light, so you want to have dark to light, so you'll add a little bit of you got to be subtle, so you got to again, I used a blending of liquid to and then a wide brush to spread the lightness of the from light, well, to make it subtle. I guess you got to make the color subtle and still leave it transparent enough so the fat over lean principle applies here, where after you layer dry first on the first layer of oil painting, where you thinly paint it with linseed oil. Then on your second layer you would apply the my liquid stuff, and that gives you that transparency and gloss over it. And then there's then some artists would do glazing technique. The glazing technique would make it opaque or transparent, or add some gloss to it and try to make it three-dimensional in a way, and have that transitioning of light to dark, where I guess Da Vinci used to add a technique, the sfumato effect or the chiaroscuro effect, back in these Renaissance times. So an artist has been trying to do that with their realistic type portraits that they can. So,
but you like to do your dark areas first, and then
yeah, especially like the hair and the shadows underneath, or the chins and stuff. And yeah, so you got to do that first. If you don't do that, and it needs to be lightened up, and if you try to paint it the light colors over it's already previously painted dark, then you get this grayish mud.
Mud, that's a term that's
it's not
famous to artists. Mud. Right. I've done that when I first started out by accident, and then you learn.
Yeah.
And then once you get down a technique, because I have to admit, I think I paint basically the same way. It depends on the subject matter, but then sometimes I'll find myself doing something just the opposite, and it works. And then I say, gee, I forgot how I did that. You ever do that?
Yeah.
And that's, well, it's just one of the millions of things about doing art. But I like your flesh tones a lot. I like your shadows a lot, and that's basically what I like. And sometimes shadows are easy to put in, and sometimes they're not. But when you work from dark to light, it does seem to make sense. Like with acrylics, you can let them dry and go right over them. So but then you got to glaze. You got to put one coat down, let it dry, and then go over it. And they call that glazing.
Glazing, yeah.
And we've got one.
I got two more. Yeah, I got
two more paintings.
Yeah, two John Lennons.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, as we were talking about Beatle fans and all that. Yep.
Oh, I'm a Beatle fan.
Okay.
I've got a friend. He's 52 or 53 years old, and he is such a Beatle fan. Him and I argue who was the best group.
Oh yeah.
He says the Beatles were #1 and the Stones were #2. And I say, no, the Stones are #1 and the Beatles are #2. We've been doing this back and forth for like 22 years.
I like them both, yeah.
Oh, yeah. In fact, people don't realize this, but they played on each other's albums.
Yeah, and they gave some songs to the Beatles. And I Want to Be Your Man was one of the Beatles songs that they gave to the Stones to play, right?
Yep. Yeah, they were good friends.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this one.
All right, yeah, so this was taken, this is actually, I was watching the anthology DVD of the Beatles, and they were playing their very last concert, it turns out. And so I ended up...
that's a rooftop.
Yeah, this is the rooftop one, yeah. So this is a rooftop photo, but you never see a real photo of them other than if you freeze it. So I freeze it on my TV screen, and then I took a picture of it and used that as a reference. And then from there, I painted it. So
that was supposedly their last.
Yeah, this was actually
gig together.
It was actually their 50 years from today of their last concert, Rooftop, back in January of 1970, before they eventually broke up.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to make a documentary movie of Let It Be, which now is going to be changed to Get Back by Peter Jackson, and that got delayed for releasing this year, and now it's going to be pushed back to August of 2021 by producer Peter Jackson, who did the Lord of the Rings series, movies. So anyway, so this was done on acrylic on a 16 by 20. This is a wood panel, and
that's nice. I like that.
Yeah. So this.
In fact, I saw something on Facebook just last night that there's a remake of the film on the Rooftop.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. Maybe.
Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to read it, but I skimmed by and I go, I wonder what they're doing now.
Right.
But that's really nice. If my friend Brian Morse, he's a musician. In fact, tonight he's going to play out on Elm Street at Panucci's at, I think, 7 o'clock. But he is a great Beatles fan. And to your right, I like this one too, Jim. This John Lennon.
Yeah, this is a Deviate. This is also acrylic painting that was done on. I think this is canvas. Yeah, this is done on canvas. So this is a little bit deviation from what I usually do. So I made it more abstract in a way.
Right.
So I also use a little bit of airbrushing on the background here, if you notice. So I try to blend the purples and the whites, blended with some blues. So I use multiple colors for airbrushing, overlaid on top of each other to kind of give it like what they call a psychedelic effect.
Right, yeah. From the 60s.
An old 70 term.
Yeah, 60, 70, yep.
Yeah. And then, of course, I use a little bit of a poetic license here for the bluish colors on his right side of his face to get a different effect of it, rather than just do regular flesh tones. So I did the same, so it's more rainbowish colors on the forehead. Then I used the iridescent silver on this frame, again on its glasses, with some cast shadows on the chin. Again, you gotta get into the planes of the face, many planes between the face, cheeks, and under his nose, you know, and eyelids and all that. So that's
well, we've got 1 minute.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So
we've got 1 minute left.
And
I would like to thank Jim for coming on, and hopefully I'll have him on again, because he seems to keep producing, and that's one thing you need to do when you're an artist, especially in times like this that we're going through. And I like your work, Jim. I like your use of colors and everything. And then I'm going to have to let Brian Morse, my friend, know that you're doing some Beatle paintings. I was going to do Sgt. Pepper, the Beatles in their uniform, and somebody stole my album. I suppose I could get a photograph of it, but I had an original Sgt. Pepper's album. And all my original albums from when I was a teenager, and somebody stole them.
Oh, really?
I had a guy that was all set to buy them. I had a double album by Chuck Berry in the box, perfect condition. The Beatles, the Stones, and one Bob Dylan.
Oh, yeah.
But again, I'd like to thank Jim, and I'm sure that I'm going to have him on again. And I would like to say thank you for dropping by, and I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Yeah.